It's not my job. If my boss knew, she'd fire me. That's fine, the New York Times would beg to hire me. Till then I'd log alone. Blah, 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 blah.
There is certainly an energy among the House Conference members that I haven't seen in quite a long time. And first of all, I want to say thank you for having me here. Thanks for showing the clip. But I want to also recognize the role that all of you played in making that gas price protest on the floor so successful. We talked a lot about the Middle Class Bill of Rights, and this is an agenda for the middle class in this country. It tries to speak to the challenges that they face. Number one, the challenge of high gas prices and the fact that Congress hasn't acted to do anything about it yet, advocating some prescriptions there, including the American Energy Act, which is to employ all modes of getting more American energy, starting with offshore drilling. We talked a lot about sort of job insecurity, healthcare insecurity, and how we go about addressing those, and some very common sense solutions for the working people in this country. And then lastly, trying to ensure that the notion of a stimulus should always be connected to more jobs. The more opportunity we have in this country, the more that Americans will have the ability to go to work and to continue to support their families. Certainly there are those who are challenged and won't be able to do that, which we need to provide for safety net, but let's make sure that we provide a stimulus so that there can be more job creation.
Thought Florida 2000 was an anomaly. I think we're heading precisely towards the most likely outcome in a very close election. We're going to go to a variation of Florida. It won't be in Florida. It will be perhaps in another state, and perhaps it will be in more than one state.
Oh, really? What I'm worried about in my new book, Stealing Elections, How Voter Fraud Threatens Our Democracy, is that we are in danger of repeating the 2000 Florida recount experience in Bush v. Gore all over again this year, but in perhaps more states than Florida, and with even more devastating consequences to the credibility and legitimacy of our elections. We have not repaired our election systems. They are still a combination of bureaucratic bungling, decentralized chaos, and the potential for voter fraud. Whether it's absentee ballots or provisional ballots or voter registrations from groups like Acorn that simply represent people who don't exist, we have a serious problem on our hands. Let me just give you one quick example. If the election is decided by one state, say Michigan, and McCain has a 20,000 vote lead, anyone who walks into a polling place and wants to vote but isn't on the registration list gets a provisional vote that's counted and verified later. But if McCain is ahead by 20,000 votes and there are 80,000 provisional votes, that's an open invitation for lawyers to sue in a Florida-style recounts and litigation. We have two civil rights in this country. One is the civil right we fought a big battle in the 1960s to extend the votes to all those who were blocked by poll taxes and intimidation and literacy tests. We have to preserve and extend those gains. But there's another civil right. It's the civil right to have your vote counted and not be canceled out by someone who shouldn't be voting, someone who doesn't exist, or someone who's voting twice. That civil right has to be preserved as well, and that's what my book is about. If we don't preserve that right, we're going to repeat Florida and undermine the credibility of our elections.
Yeah, I mean, we had a great discussion with the bloggers meeting today, and I think it indicates really the increasing influence that the blogging community has in things going on in Washington and really, more importantly, throughout the country. There is so much establishment-oriented consensus that is bred in this town, and the blogging community has sort of stepped up to the plate and challenged that consensus and tried to shift the lens back to the American people. And that's, I think, the most exciting sort of development that we have seen really take hold over the last several months.